Hello everyone, welcome to my tutorial on installing automotive carpet and mass-loaded vinyl into your vehicle. This is my 1964 Austin Healey and I'm finishing up the project. So I thought I'd make a short video of installing the carpet. Now I have other vehicles. I have other tutorial vehicles about installing CLD, constraint layer dampener, installing MLV, mass-loaded vinyl, and installing now the carpet. And so you can look at those videos for more detail on how to do everything. But I'm going to sum this one up real short just to go over the quick points. What I'm doing is I'm making the interior of the car quieter. To do that, the first thing you should do is install CLD. That's what this is. It's a butyl rubber with a foil lined top. What it is a sound deadener. Here's an example. Without it, with it. Hope you can hear that. So the entire inside of my car has been done with it. I first used the CLD with a black foam on it, but it's really not holding up that much. The foam isn't. The reason I used is I thought I could save a step by having the foam on top, but it's not a very good quality foam, so I would recommend just using the CLD. So that's a dampener. To block noise, you want to use mass-loaded vinyl. That's what this is. This is an 1/8 inch thick. 1/8 inch of mass-loaded vinyl equal to about a double pane glass window. So sound deadener, noise blocker, but you really don't want to put this right on top of the CLD, nor do you want to put it right on top of sheet metal. You need to have a dissimilar material. Closed cell foam works well. This is 1/8 inch. This closed cell foam is much superior than the foam that came on that other CLD that was there. So again, recommendations, good CLD, closed cell foam. This is from Second Scan. I believe it has some rubber in it. Could be wrong on that. I was wrong once. But anyway, your dissimilar material, then you put your mass-loaded vinyl on it. Now they offer another product. So this is called LL, Luxury Liner. And this is Luxury Liner Pro because it has 2/8 inch of closed cell foam on it. If you go this route, you can go right on there. The advantage of using the Luxury Liner Pro is that the foam is twice as thick as this. Why is that important? Because the foam can, if it's thick enough and a good quality, it can act as a thermal insulator. Okay, so that's it. So let's go back here. Here we go. So I already have all of this area done. Today, I'm going to be putting in the mass-loaded vinyl on the floors, the Luxury Liner Pro, and put the carpet on top of it. So let's take a look at it. So this is the LLP for the driver's side and the carpet. LLP for the passenger side and the carpet. Now the way I'm laying it down, this is a pattern that fits inside there and it's a very snug fit. On the top here I have Velcro. For the carpet I have Velcro. And this is where the seat starts. So that takes care of that end. Now on this end here I have Velcro on the bottom. And by the way, when you glue the Velcro to mass-loaded vinyl up here, you need to use a really good cement that adheres to mass-loaded vinyl. The one that I'm using is HHR66. The self-adhesive Velcro will not hold. It'll eventually gas off. So use a good glue for that. So again, I have a strip here and on the footwell on the top. Lay it in, press it down. It's pretty firm material so you can slide it around and get it in. This section here is going to go under a lip of the door panel side. Now I have snaps on the top for the carpet. This is really nice the way they hide the snaps. Here we go. So those snaps will go here. And again, Velcro, and Velcro. And the reason I'm using snaps here, because when I line it up and try to push this under, because it's flexible, and this was firm, you could slide it on, because this is flexible, if I had Velcro here, it would catch. So once I have it in, smooth it out and snap it. So that will go for there. Now for the footwells and the rear, same thing, mass-loaded vinyl. And where these seams are, and this is the outlet for the seat belt, I've strengthened it up with a luxury liner mass-loaded vinyl, especially here where the seat belt loops comes in. And here, as you can see, I've shaved some of the foam down, and I'll show that to you when I install it in the car. Again, don't need anything underneath the seat here, but I put Velcro here because when you put the carpet on, I don't want that to move at all. And here's the carpet and there's the Velcro. Same on both sides. Now let's get to the transmission tunnel, which I believe is the most important part in my car, because you have the engine heat and noise coming in here. You have the transmission heat and noise coming up. That's why I put the mass-loaded vinyl Luxury Liner Pro on the entire transmission here. I'll show you here. Get this piece off. There we go. You see, all these relief cuts right here. So this is, I made it as one piece, so it's removable. It's not glued to the transmission tunnel. And the way I have it attached is using the snaps. These are the snaps that the Healey used. These are the 4 snap positions, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And this was meant to hold the carpet down with the Healey. What they had under here was jute. I am not using jute because jute absorbs water. And closed cell foam does not, and because it's 2/8 inch thick of closed cell foam, it will be just as good as the jute as far as controlling the heat. Okay, there we go. Now on the bottom here, under this I have CLD, constraint layer dampener, and on top of it I have a heat shield. This is by Second Skin Audio also, and I'll leave links to here. So this will dampen it, reflect the heat from coming up. On the top I have the mass-loaded vinyl. What I'm going to show you here is it's held in by the snaps, but here I put Velcro in. And Velcro here, the reason I did that is on the firewall you'll have carpet, and this carpet comes up and it meets it. I don't want it to move at all. I want it to be firm up there. So I added this. So let me show you how I do that. So I'm just push it in, pull it up, bring it down. There we go. Get this snap in right here. There's the snap. Now, you see I have a little edge here. By the way, for your Healey guys, this is closed cell foam right along here, because that'll meet up against the carpet and make a nice seal. I don't have any closed cell foam here. I'll explain why when we're installing this in the car. And this is the cable for the speedometer. So as I say, this is nice and firm here, like that, and that will stay in. So now let's put all these pieces in the car. Like a puzzle, there are certain pieces that have to go in first, and that would be this one for the transmission hump. Hope you guys are enjoying this POV style. This is the first time I'm trying this out. So this is the Luxury Liner Pro. The reason I stopped it right here is because the transmission tunnel fiberglass will go right to here, and then I have the mass-loaded vinyl on there will stop right here. So the reason I'm doing it shorter is because I want the carpet to overlap. So this is the only piece in the car that I am not attaching physically. This is the seatbelt anchor here. Help if I put it on the right way. Okay, bring it up, bring it in there, push it all the way back, make a nice seam, and as I said, nothing's holding it down. When you have the transmission tunnel in, an armrest will push down here. When I put in the mass-loaded vinyl, which is 3/8 high, that'll push against this, plus the carpet, so it'll be anchored here, and anchored here. And now let's put in the transmission tunnel. Let's take the stick shift out, make it a bit easier. Okay, so here we go. First thing you need to do, Healey guys, is put in the cable. Now for you Healey guys, probably know this, but there's a washer that goes up here. You make sure you have that. And also use a good quality cable. It'll be the correct length, and you know, the more expensive ones are made better, and all this relates to having the speedometer speed correct. Okay. Here we go. This is the fun part. Bring this up. Let's see if I can shoehorn this in. I know you guys, Healey guys, it seems that every time I do this, I do it a different way. Oh, look at that. Get that in up at the front. I'll bring this up. Can you see that? There it is. And cinch it down. So here, let me bring this carpet back and show you what I was talking about. Right here, let me go to the other side. Okay. So the reason the carpet has snaps is you can take it off in case it gets wet, but also because there is a access here with this rubber plug to the grease fitting for the drive shaft. So we'll bring this over. So now you can see here how it meets. So this goes right to here, and I already have CLD with the foam on it, and that's coming into here, and so it's kind of meeting flush. Plus I'm going to put the mass-loaded vinyl over it, and we'll go over the lip, push against here. So that's why I really don't need any of the foam here. Another reason I don't want to use the foam is because when I put the console here, because it's a little bit thicker and it's not as forgiving as jute, I have a height issue. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm not bringing it up too high and can't get that in there. All right, so this is in, bring it in. There's a snap. And here, let me show you what a good fit that is. Look at that with the carpet. Nice. I'm very happy with that. Okay. All right, so now we got this in. So now let's start putting in the mass-loaded vinyl. Everything here is lined up. Let's put in this piece. So I start, it's like a puzzle. I'm going to start right here and line this up. There we go. Once I do that, everything should fit. So there's a little notch here, which will go right in here. So I'll just push this down. There we go. Slide it in. And then get this camera angle correct. There we go. So here's the area right here that I need to slide this in under. And you can see that I've trimmed the foam here to make it thinner, especially here where it meets the carpet. I don't want it to be raised 3/8 of an inch, so I've made it thin so the carpet will lay better. Go. Thank God I'm ambidextrous, right? Because I got to use my left hand here. And I get that left hand in. There we go. Bring that in. All right, now because it's stiff, I can bring it down because I want this to be down. Get this down. Everything is a nice fit. And then simply push it in, and it lines up with the Velcro. Here we go. Now, let's put this piece in. And when I say let's, I'm referring to me, myself, and I. I get that a lot with my friends. Hey, can you come over and help me install this bracket? And I say, how do you spell we? R-O-G-E-R? Because I'm the one that's going to end up doing it. All right, so let's talk about the shavings here. So right here, you can see that I did a lot of shaving here. I brought it down to the 1/8 inch of mass-loaded vinyl. Here and here, so when the carpet goes on, it'll do it there. You may be wondering why I am not putting the mass-loaded vinyl down first and then have the carpet come over it. That's normally the way it's done. The reason I'm doing it differently is the Heelys had a snap here, and it'd be good in the beginning, but with weather and everything, the carpet would start rolling up on the edges. And to keep this carpet from rolling up, I figured, you know what, let's put in the mass-loaded vinyl, which is heavy, and it's going to be a pressure fit. Then I'll put the carpet in, straighten that out, then I'll put the carpet right up to the edge here, and then I'll never lift. Let's get this in. There we go. Bring this in here. Right, start right here. Set the camera up, okay. Everything is really a tight fit. Bring this under. Again, the reason I strengthen this up again is because of the anchor here. So again, thin here and here, thin here and here. Let's get this under. There we go. This under. Again, line everything up. Since this is lining up here and here, now it should line up back here. So I'm going to pull this up a little bit so you can see here it's thin here to here. Let's get this camera focused. All right, now we just simply push this down. It has a very tight fit. So let's do the carpet next. Show you how that works. So here we go. We've got the Velcro on the bottom here, and at the top we have the snaps. So I'm going to start right here. Like the puzzle. Just make sure everything is lined up. There we go. Here's a notch. Bring this over like that. There's the notch. Now let's talk about the carpet. This is Wilton wool, and you can cut it here and it doesn't unravel. When these cars came out, they had a different type of carpet. I can't remember the name of it, but you can cut it and it didn't unravel. But there are no binded edges on it or anything. Well, up here, actually, in case you guys are wondering, from the factory, this carpet would have been one piece. But it's kind of difficult to get to that grease fitting on the drive shaft when you have to unsnap all of it. So when the carpet kits are made now, they cut it here and they bind the edge where it wasn't bound by the factory. So I'm kind of meeting halfway. I'm not binding it, yet it's not one piece. And the only area you're going to see is about right here, because there'll be a console on top here, an armrest. Down here, the other carpet will hold it in, so I'm going to be a little less, it's not perfect, but it's better than seeing a bound edge. Okay, so let's get this in here. There we go. All right, now let's see if I can get this tilted correctly so we can see up in there. This is one of the harder parts, is to get this piece under it. There we go. Push it down. There we go, like that. Bring this back. Make everything evened up. Let's check this area. If it's too far like it is, let's move it forward. There we go. Because that's all going to be related to the top. Now everybody, this is not what I do for a living. I'm not a videographer, if I'm making up new names here. But this is, I learned as I go. Everything was CLD, the mass loaded vinyl, and the carpet, because I bought a roll. And I'm making it myself. All right, so there we go. All right, nice and even. All right, let's try it again. Get this down. There we go, that's better. Now, try to get this under this lip here. It's a pretty tight fit. There we go. Now I need to, you can see by the bumps here, I need to move it over. And that's why I'm not Velcroing it, because it won't let me slide it. There we go. Come on, get that corner in. There we go. There it is. How well this is coming out for you guys. But this is a good seam here. My finger in there, there we go. It's a good seam here. This is under. Move it all over like that. And then the snaps should line up. There it is. And there it is. Oh, that wasn't in yet. Let me strengthen that there. There it is, and then push the corner in. See, the seams are very nice. So this is held in so it won't come down. Then when you come down to the bottom, that's held in. Here we go, that's held in with the Velcro. So this piece is in. I'm happy with that. And let's put this other piece in. Same thing, we've got the Velcro here. With bringing this forward. There we go. Get this corner in. There we go. This lines up. Push this down. Get this under. Look at that. Just like downtown. Okay, bring this down. Okay, now if everything is lined up here, again, it's the puzzle, then this hopefully hasn't caught yet. Okay, and this is what I was explaining before. If you just lay carpet down and put a snap there and a snap there, this all may roll up. Put it down, push this in. Just push the edges down. There we go. And that is a nice fit, and it's not going to move. And hold the Velcro there. And that's There we go. Let's take a look at that. Right up in there. There's that corner there. And this is a nice finished edge. You look at some of the other Heeleys, I don't know how they do it, but this is not going to move because it's Velcroed and it's right up to there. This is all nice and set. And that's how I did this. Let's see if I have any time left on this to do the other side. Okay. Again, we start puzzle here. Camera lined up. There we go. There's the notch. Line that up, get that notch down. Okay. This piece will push in right here. Let's get the camera angle right. And again, I've thinned it down here because of the carpet there. Let's push this all up. Bring this down, get this under, move it over, make sure it's all the way down. There we go. There we go. So everything lines up. And then this here, all smooth, and then the Velcro is holding it. Happy with that. Now let's put in the back piece. And it's the same as the other side. I've reinforced everything. I've done shading here, as you can see, for this area. Point of view. Hope you're enjoying this music. So let's set that back up again. I love my garage. I'm going to show you my garage. Look at that. Lots of ceiling lights. Floor's done. Surround sound. Subwoofer. Such a guy. Cars and music. Okay. These forward. Again, get that under there. There we go. Get this piece under. Bring it back a bit. Get this under. So we need to move this back just a hair. There we go. There it is. Once everything lines up there, everything will line up back here. There we go. And now we just push it down. And that's it. Now when the carpet's on here, it won't move. And it's lined up. So let's do the front piece. There we go. Bring this back. Again, we start the puzzle right here. There it is. Get this under. see if I can get this camera angled better. Get this up. Okay. There we go. Bring this up. Get this piece in right there. Now we need to slide it over. There it is. Bring it down. There we go. And move it all over like that. And then push this in. Get the snaps. There it is. Get the snap. There it is. Okay. And the last piece. There we go. Same as before. Got the Velcro. Start here. Bring it in. This is the rewarding part. I spent so much time cleaning all the old stuff off the floor, putting the CLD down, making patterns for the mass-loaded vinyl, cutting templates for everything, and then end up with this reward of watching it all come together. Well, it's a reward if it works. Okay, there we go. And there's just, there it is. Bring it over, everything lines up. And that's it. Let's see if I can get this off. There we go. Let's take a good close look. I am finished. And there it's nice. I'm really happy about that. All through here. The seats will go on nice through here.